Hi there, Tara Lloyd from Fairway Independent Mortgage Company, talking about move-up buyers today. Wanted to go over a few strategies for people who are sitting in their homes and looking at the houses three doors down that are selling for crazy amounts, and they're wondering, like, I wonder what it would look like if I did that. I think I have all this equity, but what would that even look like? So I want to talk about three things: inventory, appreciation, and just touch on a few strategies for move-up buyers that will make things a little bit more seamless for you in the long run. So talking on inventory, I'm going to talk to you about that in terms of months. So that just means if there were no other listings added to the MLS or the market today, how long would it take at the current rate in which houses are being purchased for everything to be sold? So right now in the entry-level first-time buyer price range, which is anything under $200,000 right now, is 0.3 months. So it's about 9 days. Not much. And we go up a little bit in the 200 to 250, but when you get above 250,000, you're looking at 0.7, 0.9 months on the market. So it's more than double. It's still not much. We still are in a seller's market. Anything under 4 months of inventory is a seller's market. So there are no delusions that you're going to be selling your house and buying in a seller's market and buying in a buyer's market. That's not going to happen. But it is important to know that you are going to be selling and buying in a different type of seller's market. It's a different experience for someone out there looking at at a week of inventory versus 3 or 6 weeks of inventory. So that's important to keep in mind. Secondly, I want to talk about appreciation. So we all know that our home values have gone up, but what does that even really look like? And I would say, from the looks of it, anywhere in that 2-year mark, if you've been in your home for 2 years, and also that's the capital gains waiting period, so that works out. If you've been in your home for 2 years or longer, that's the breaking point at which it starts to make sense to be able to sell and purchase something else. Really, at that point, you're kind of looking at a lateral move unless you had really high mortgage insurance or a change in circumstance. You need a bigger house, a smaller house, or you got a huge raise and you can suddenly afford more and want that. That's the breaking point. When you've been in your house 3, 5, 7 years, it starts to look a lot sweeter. So focusing on that 7-year range, if I pulled the data from, this is just MLS data, so this is homes recorded purchases in Ada County for existing home sales, and from January of 2011 through the end of Q1 of 2018, we have seen 95% appreciation. So for some of you, if you've been in your home 7 years or longer, that's almost double the house price. There's a lot you can do with that equity. You can sell, you can buy, you can still have money for credit cards and to pay off credit cards and auto loans and buy furnishings and maybe even go for the house that's been on the market for a little bit longer, get a better deal on it, and put new carpet and paint in. So those are just some things to take into consideration. Finally, 2 quick strategies that I wanted to bring into mind. First things first, get pre-qualified for your next purchase before you list your house. It's always important to have a good idea of what you can get for your house because that's like going to gauge everything else, right? So there is that, but before you just dive in and list your house, know what your end game is going to look like. Know what your payment's going to look like and what you can actually qualify for to make sure that you're able to achieve whatever goal you're working toward. Secondly, it's important to remember that as the seller, when you're selling your home right now, particularly if you have an entry-level home that you're selling, the bargaining power is in your court. You have so much room for negotiation. if you are selling to a first-time home buyer, they likely have a lease. They likely have a month or 2 or 3 or 4 sometimes left on their lease agreement that they need to figure out. And you can ask for a longer closing if that's what you want. Or for conventional loans, if you're doing if you need a couple of months, you can rent your house back from the person who is purchasing it for up to 60 days after closing. So sometimes that works out to be a win-win for everyone in the situation, especially if you're moving into a house that you have some repairs that need done before you move in. So remember that there's always room for negotiation. Also keep in mind, I said 2 things, but this is 3. Also keep in mind that you have more bargaining power going into your next purchase because you have more wiggle room with the equity that you're going to have. That gives you more wiggle room on what you can offer for earnest money, on what you can offer for repairs, and not asking for certain things to be done because you can just pay for it to be done yourself. It just makes things a lot easier the second go around. So if you have questions, if you would like me to take a look at your specific situation and maybe run a net sheet and see what that looks like, it's no trouble for me. It doesn't take long. It's no commitment from you. Just get a hold of me and we can talk about what that looks like. Thank you so much for listening in, and I hope this was helpful for someone out there. Take care and good luck out there.